A friend of mine told me a very funny story the other day. One year, she decided to do an experiment. She decided to grow vegetables in her garden. She planted tomatoes, she planted aubergines, she planted bell peppers, cucumbers, and different vegetables of such. She had a garden of quite considerable size. So some of these plants needed additional lights. So she asked her husband to install lights in the shed and bought some additional covered house-like small shed or house-like structure to plant more vegetables, and they installed lights there. 2 weeks later, police came to her door, and police was asking, like, how is your day today? What are you up to? And she didn't understand what was the point of their visit. And they said, we think something fell into your garden. Can we please take a look? And she said, yeah, of course. English wasn't her first language, and she was like, she didn't understand the point of the whole visit. And obviously she didn't know that if certain households consume more energy, more than average, well, significantly more than average energy, authorities usually think two things. Either this person is growing weed, aka marijuana, or some other weed types. Second, it means that this person is mining cryptocurrency. While in 99% of legislations, growing weed is not something legal, obviously, being a cryptocurrency miner, it can be legal and illegal depending on the country where you're in. But independently of this, by the way, she is fine. She grew her vegetables. Police saw that these are just vegetables. She enjoyed her summer and autumn with fresh tomatoes, fresh cucumbers, and etc. And you and me today here are gonna look into cryptocurrency mining from a technical standpoint. Because one thing is when you know that, okay, it's computationally expensive and they are mining, they're blah, 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 doing something on the internet. But what exactly do they do? These cryptocurrency miners. Why do they do what they do? And how does it reflect on the fact whether we can or cannot buy cryptocurrency? Don't forget to watch my video about cryptocurrencies, how they work on the technical side, so that you have a better background into this video. Cryptocurrency transactions are collected into blockchain ledger, and the transactions are pseudonymous, meaning that they're not anonymous. You can conceal your name, surname, and just have your wallet ID or wallet information. However, it doesn't mean that it can't be tracked to you. Obviously, electronic ledger does contain information regarding transactions. So transactions are pseudonymous and they are decentralized because transactions to the ledger are coming from the different parts of the world, and these transactions are first. So how it happens basically? Transaction TR goes into, first of all, they collect in blocks these transactions. And by the way, a bit later, we will review this. And once the block is completed, it is added to the ledger. The centralized part is the blocks. So these transactions go to different nodes all over the world. And once they're collected in a single block, blocks are added to electronic ledger. Addition to the ledger is irreversible. Whatever is added to the ledger stays there. And they say cryptocurrency miners, there is a lot of consumption of CPU, GPU, and ASIC power, right? So you need not the power, but you need certain specific good processors, good computers to do that. But why? Well, the reason behind this is that you need to solve mathematical problems, but it's not as easy as that. The more cryptocurrency transactions we have, the more demand we have for miners. The more miners out there, the more difficult these mathematical puzzles become. So once you solve the puzzle, you need to create a hash of that puzzle. So valid hash of the puzzle. Bitcoin, for example, uses SHA-256 algorithm for hashing. And once the hash of the puzzle is created, it's compared to the solution. And if it's correct, then block is authorized. But the point is not only to solve this. The point is to solve this faster than others. Once you do it faster than others, then that's it. You mined cryptocurrency and you can reap the rewards. That's why you need better computer so that you can make better computation. It's similar to you need to make a lot of transactions, a lot of computations on a calculator. And one calculator can only be so fast, right? So you need a very strong calculator to have strong power to run concurrent processes and do it faster. because difficulty of the mathematical problems increases with time. But what do you get? Why would you do that? Why would you become a miner? Well, in case of most popular cryptocurrencies, you get block rewards. So with each block added to the ledger, you get 6.25 Bitcoin per block. And this number halves every 4 years or so. Conditions change, so it can be 4 years 1 year and 3 years another year. But usually the number is decreasing because, let's face it, currently Bitcoin is fluctuating between 9 and 100k, right? So you just do basic multiplication and find out how much cryptocurrency miners get. That's a lot of money. And on top of that, they get transaction fees that are steady. So if the block rewards in Bitcoin decreases, you still get steady transactions. And also remember that if Bitcoin increases in price, even with less number of Bitcoins, you can still make more money eventually if Bitcoin is more expensive. So there are two types of rewards. Rewards are very lucrative. It's something that you can't just pass by. You're like, okay, maybe I construct a stronger computer, because after a couple of videos, you can turn many computers into stronger versions of themselves. You can buy better RAM parts for it, you can update GPU, and you can do many things, right? So that's why it's very, very lucrative. How does it work exactly? So imagine me, my friend, and my friend's friend, we bought some Bitcoin, or we transferred Bitcoin to someone, okay? And we generated 3 transactions. Transaction 1, transaction 2, and transaction 3. These transactions are added to a mempool. They have added to a mempool, and cryptocurrency miners on different nodes connect to the mempool and start solving mathematical puzzles, right? Once puzzle has been solved and there are enough transactions to be collected to a block from mempool, they are added to a block, right? And the block is a blockchain ledger. Next block of a ledger, right? It's being added to our ledger. But how do we know how many transactions there are, when it was created, who solved that puzzle? Well, we have a block header for each block. Don't confuse it with ledger header, okay? It's block header. It's similar to, ledger is similar to a book, right? And each page has a header. That header contains metadata, right? And that metadata contains the pertinent information about timestamp, about anything you might need when the block ledger is added to the block, to the ledger. And what is this process called? Like this process of cryptocurrency mining? It's called proof of work. And why would it be called proof of work? Because in order to become a cryptocurrency miner, you need to have certain hardware and you need to download certain software. If you Google it, you will find different types of softwares that are used by cryptocurrency miners. It's just similar to a program that you need in order to start the process. And that means that you have proof of work. And this cryptocurrency miners work by the principle of having proof of work. Again, we discussed this. They generate valid hash based on the solutions that they got. And this valid hash has certain number of zeros and might have a nonce. The basically random expression that is added to the hash to make it a valid hash. So it's very computationally intensive. It's computationally expensive. You consume a lot of electricity. You need a very good computer, right? Obviously, you might not succeed. Someone who does it 1 second faster than you, who did it 1 second faster than you, it means that all 24 hours of your computations were for nothing, because block has already been sent to ledger. Someone did it faster than you did. These expenses are not usually justified, because out of many miners, 0.009% get block rewards and transaction fees. But since rewards are so high, many people go into this and decide to try. Any changes made to the ledger or using this hash, because SHA-256 is one of the best hashing algorithms currently present, it's deterministic and it's irreversible. Deterministic meaning that same solution always generates the same hash, and it's irreversible because once you add it to the ledger, once you add it to the block, you can't take it back, you can't change anything basically. And you might ask, like, we're living in 2024, right? And we think that cryptocurrency is going to take over the world. That's what they say. But how could it be so computationally expensive? We're not in 1960s where one computer could take up the whole room. We're in 2024, or well, soon it will be 2025. And you are correct. There are cryptocurrencies that don't use computationally expensive methodology. They use a system called proof of stake, POS. One of the very prominent representatives of proof of stake work principle is Ethereum version 2 to be more correct. And how does it work? Proof of stake. Proof of stake, how it suggests, makes you prove that you have a stake. What does it mean? You have certain amount in Ethereum, right? Imagine I have 2 Ethereum coins or 2.5, and I say I have a stake. Again, just as here, I download certain hardware, certain software in order to be in the game, basically. And I tell them, I have 2 Ethereums and I'm gonna put it as a collateral in order to be able to approve transactions. And there are people around the world who want to become miners for Ethereum too. They want to put stake. And there is someone who has 100 of Ethereums and he puts 100 as a collateral, right? And someone who offers most amount of Ethereum as a stake, as a collateral, more stake, more chances, gets to approve the transaction. And they get transaction fees. Rarely they get Ethereum, or so don't get me wrong. The reason why I'm mentioning Ethereum is because it's using proof of stake. But the list of it's non-exhaustive because there can be another coin that is using the same principle. What you need to remember is POS, proof of stake, and POW, proof of work, so that you will understand how the coin works. And they get transaction fees mostly. Maybe with other coins they get some coin as well. But however, it's more scalable. So with Bitcoin, why it becomes more and more expensive? It's less scalable. You need to have miners who can approve transactions. So they need to have hardware. They need to solve these puzzles. They need to be fastest. And you need to have enough transactions for the block. And that's just so much hassle. It means that it's not that scalable. There is less supply, meaning that there is higher demand and Bitcoin rises in price through certain periods of time. But with Ethereum, it's more scalable. You can buy more of that cryptocurrency because it's easier to approve transactions. And obviously it's easier to make transactions, but also you need to think. So if there are many people with a lot of Ethereum, with a lot of these coins, and they can provide them as a collateral, does it mean that increased supply will diminish the price of the product, as we have in free market graph, right, of supply and demand? So that's a very interesting thought. But since this is not a financial advice as such, we will leave time to tell us what will happen to the coins. But at the moment, most common cryptocurrency mining methodologies are proof of stake and proof of work. Thank you for being with me today. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section down below. Let's be friends on Instagram. Let's be friends on LinkedIn. And please like and subscribe my video. I need YouTube algorithm to like my channel more. Thank you again and have a nice day. Bye.